Hi, my name is Ashley Stone, and I am reading Judges 11 through 13. Chapter 11. Now Jephthah, the Gileadite, was a valiant warrior, but he was the son of a harlot, and Gilead was the father of Jephthah. Gilead's wife bore him sons. When his wife's sons grew up, they drove Jephthah out and said to him, "You shall not have an inheritance in our father's house, for you are the son of another woman." So Jephthah fled from his brothers and lived in the land of Tob. And worthless fellows gathered themselves about Jephthah, and they went out with him. It came about after a while that the sons of Ammon fought against Israel. When the sons of Ammon fought against Israel, the elders of Gilead went to Jephthah from the land of Tob. And they said to Jephthah, "Come and be our chief, that we may fight against the sons of Ammon." Then Jephthah said to the elders of Gilead, "Did you not hate me and drive me from my father's house? So why have you come to me now, when you are in trouble?" The elders of Gilead said to Jephthah, "For this reason we have now returned to you, that you may go with us and fight with the sons of Ammon, and become head over all the inhabitants of Gilead." So Jephthah said to the elders of Gilead, "If you take me back to the fight against the sons of Ammon, and the Lord gives them up to me, will I become your head?" The elders of Gilead said to Jephthah, "The Lord is witness between us. Surely we will do as you have said." Then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and chief over them. And Jephthah spoke all his words before the Lord at Mizpah. Now Jephthah sent messengers to the king of the sons of Ammon, saying, "What is between you and me? Will you have come to me to fight against my land?" The king of the sons of Ammon said to the messengers of Jephthah, "Because Israel took away my land when they came up from Egypt, from the Arnon, as far as the Jabbok and the Jordan, therefore return them peaceably now." But Jephthah sent messengers again to the king of the sons of Ammon, and they said to him, "Thus says Jephthah, Israel did not take away the land of Moab, nor the land of the sons of Ammon. For when they came up from Egypt, and Israel went through the wilderness to the Red Sea, and came to Kadesh. Then Israel sent messengers to the king of Edom, saying, "Please let us pass through your land." But the king of Edom would not listen. And they also sent to the king of Moab, but he would not consent. So Israel remained at Kadesh. Then they went through the wilderness and around the land of Edom and the land of Moab, and came to the east side of the land of Moab, and they camped beyond the Arnon. But they did not enter the territory of Moab, for the Arnon was the border of Moab. And Israel sent messengers to Sihon, king of Amorite, the king of Heshbon, and Israel said to him, "Please let us pass through your land to our place." But Sihon did not trust Israel to pass through his territory. So Sihon gathered all his people and camped in Jahaz and fought with Israel. The Lord, the God of Israel, gave Sihon and all his people into the hand of Israel, and they defeated them. So Israel possessed all of the land of the Amorites and inhabitants of that country. So they possessed all the territory of the Amorites from the Arnon as far as the Jabbok, and from the wilderness as far as the Jordan. Since now the Lord of the God of Israel drove out the Amorites from before his people Israel, are you then to possess it? Do you not possess what Shemosh, your God, gives you to possess? So whatever the Lord our God has driven out before us, we will possess it. Now, are you any better than Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab? Did he ever strive with Israel, or did he ever fight against them? While Israel lived in Heshbon and its villages, and in Aroer and its villages, and in all the cities that are on the banks of the Arnon, 300 years, why did you not recover them within that time? I, therefore, have not sinned against you. but you are doing me wrong by making war against me. May the Lord, the judge today between the sons of Israel and the sons of Ammon." But the king of the sons of Ammon disregarded the message which Jephthah sent him. Now, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah so that he passed through Gilead and Manasseh. Then he passed through Mizpah of Gilead, and from Mizpah of Gilead he went to the sons of Ammon. Jephthah made a vow to the Lord and said, "If you will indeed give the sons of Ammon into my hand, then it shall be that whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the sons of Ammon, it shall be the Lord's, and I will offer it up as a burnt offering." So Jephthah crossed over to the sons of Ammon to fight against them, and the Lord gave them into his hand. He struck them with a very great slaughter from Aroer to the entrance of Minnith, 20 cities, and as far as Abel-keramim. So the sons of Ammon were subdued before the sons of Israel. When Jephthah came to his house at Mizpah, behold, his daughter was coming out to meet him, with tambourines and with dancing. Now she was his one and only child besides her, and he had no son or daughter. When he saw her, he tore his clothes and said, "Alas, my daughter, you have brought me very low, and you are among those who trouble me. For I have given my word to the Lord, and I cannot take it back." So she said to him, "My father, you have given your word to the Lord. Do to me as you have said, since the Lord has avenged you of your enemies, the sons of Ammon." She said to her father, "Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months, that I may go to the mountains and weep because of my virginity, and I and my companions." Then he said, "Go." So he sent her away for 2 months, and she left with her companions and wept on the mountains because of her virginity. At the end of 2 months, she returned to her father, who did to her according to the vow which he had made, and she had no relations with a man. Thus it became a custom in Israel, that the daughters of Israel went yearly to commemorate the daughter of Jephthah, the Gileadite, 4 days in the year. Chapter 12. Then the men of Ephraim were summoned, and they crossed to Zaphon and said, "Jephthah, why did you cross over to fight against the sons of Ammon without calling us to go with you? We will burn your house down on you." Jephthah said to them, "I and my people were at great strife with the sons of Ammon. When I called you, you did not deliver me from their hand. When I saw that you would not deliver me, I took my life in my own hands and crossed over against the sons of Ammon, and the Lord gave them into my hand. Why then have you come to me this day to fight against me?" Then Jephthah gathered all of the men of Gilead and fought Ephraim. And the men of Gilead defeated Ephraim, because they said, "You are fugitives of Ephraim, O Gileadites, in the midst of Ephraim and in the midst of Manasseh." The Gileadites captured the fords of the Jordan opposite Ephraim. And it happened when any of the fugitives of Ephraim said, "Let me cross over," the men of Gilead would say to him, "Are you Ephraimite?" If he said no, then they would say to him, "Say now, Shibboleth." But he said, "Sibboleth," for he could not pronounce it correctly. Then they seized him and slew him at the fords of the Jordan. Thus there fell at the times 42,000 of Ephraim. Jephthah judged Israel 6 years. Then Jephthah the Gileadite died and was buried in one of the cities of Gilead. Now Ibzan of Bethlehem judged Israel after him. He had 30 sons and 30 daughters, whom he gave in marriage outside the family, and brought in 30 daughters from outside for his sons. And he judged Israel 7 years. Then Ibzan died and was buried in Bethlehem. Now Elon and Zebulunite judged Israel after him, and he judged Israel 10 years. Then Elon and Zebulunite died and was buried at Ajalon in the land of Zebulun. Now Abdon the son of Hillel and Pirathonite judged Israel after him. He had 40 sons and 30 grandsons, who rode on 70 donkeys, and he judged Israel 8 years. Then Abdon the son of Hillel and Pirathonite died and was buried at Pirathon in the land of Ephraim, in the hill country of Amalekite. Chapter 13. Now the sons of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord, so that the Lord gave them into the hands of Philistines 40 years. There was a certain man of Zorah of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and had borne no children. Then the angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, Behold now, you are barren and have borne no children, but you shall conceive and give birth to a son. Now, therefore, be careful not to drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. For behold, you shall conceive and give birth to a son, and no razor shall come upon his head, for the boy shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came to me, and his appearance was like the appearance of the angel of God, very awesome. And I did not ask him where he came from, nor did he tell me his name. But he said to me, Behold, you shall conceive and give birth to a son, and now you shall not drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing, for the boy shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated the Lord and said, O Lord, please let the man of God, whom you have sent, come to us, again, that he may teach us what to do for the boy who is to be born. God listened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came again to the woman as she was sitting in the field. But Manoah, her husband, was not with her. So the woman ran quickly and told her husband, Behold, the man who came the other day has appeared to me. Then Manoah arose and followed his wife. When he came to the man, he said to him, Are you the man who spoke to the woman? And he said, I am. Manoah said, Now, when your words come to pass, what shall the boy's mode of life and his vocation? So the angel of the Lord said to Manoah, Let the woman pay attention to all that I said. She should not eat anything that comes from the vine, nor drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. Let her observe all that I commanded. Then Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, Please let us detain you so that we may prepare a young goat for you. The angel of the Lord said to Manoah, Though you detain me, I will not eat your food, but if you prepare a burnt offering, then offer it to the Lord. For Manoah said, Not now that he was the angel of the Lord. Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, What is your name, so that when your words come to pass, we may honor you? But the angel of the Lord said to him, Why do you ask my name, seeing it is wonderful? So Manoah took the young goat with the grain offering and offered it on the rock to the Lord, and he performed wonders, while Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came about then that the flame went up from the altar toward heaven, that the angel of the Lord ascended in the flame of the altar. When Manoah and his wife saw this, they fell on their faces to the ground. Now the angel of the Lord did not appear to Manoah or his wife again. Then Manoah knew that he was the angel of the Lord. So Manoah to his wife, We will surely die, for we have seen God. But his wife said to him, If the Lord had desired to kill us, he would not have accepted a burnt offering and grain offering from our hands, nor would he have shown us all of these things, nor would he have let us hear things like this at this time. Then the woman gave birth to a son and named him Samson. And the child grew up, and the Lord blessed him. And the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him in Mahanaim, between Zorah and Eshtaol. Thank you for reading Judges 11 through 13 with me. I pray that you have a blessed rest of your day and that this word gives you light and spirit in the heart of the Lord.
Hello, friend, and welcome to Fear into Faith Global Bible Revival, where we're on a mission to get 1 million people to read the Word of God cover to cover in a year. I'm your host, Summer Day, and with me in the studio today is Ashley Stone, the fabulous, the stunning in pink Ashley Stone.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This is literally a blessing to be here and to know you. So
Stop some more.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to start with all my prepared questions. I want to know, how is this a blessing to you?
Well, I'm on that walk, that journey currently, I feel like. And so there's an aspect where I always say, like, I'm a baby Christian, this is new to me. And at the same time, God is surrounding me with just so many incredible women and people in my life. And honestly, I prayed out for that. And very shortly after, I met Lindy and I met you. And so really he is truly surrounding me by women that know him. And so as I'm thirsty for the word, I mean, hello, I'm thirsty for the word. I'm wanting to be surrounded by women that know the word. And here are you reading the Bible in a year. So I'm just like, okay, God, I see what you're doing here. So
He's calling you deeper. He's answering your prayers.
always.
I love it. Okay, tell everybody a little bit about you. Where are you originally from?
Oh, man. So I'm originally from Texas, but I left very young, moved up north, and not really necessarily by choice. It was kind of a rough start with our family. And so my mom was a single mom. It was me and my brother. And we lived in my grandparents' attic in Connecticut. And so really started with nothing. And so from there, I just grew up not really with church, not with God. We didn't really know. We always believed in something bigger. But it kind of started and ended there. It was really instilled in me to just be a strong little girl and to just, not really have emotions, and we're just gonna like kind of forge forward. We gotta be tough. And so yeah, I grew up in Connecticut in kind of rough beginnings and had really rough experiences in life, that unfortunately exposed me to trauma and some just tough things as a teenager. And so I really felt like
you're back in Texas now.
I'm back in Texas now, completely God sent.
And what do you do in Texas?
In Texas, what do I do in Texas now?
Yes.
Girl,
Are you a kindergarten teacher?
No, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so serial entrepreneur. I've been a little bit in survival mode after COVID, but God completely directed me down here. And so from one extent, I started beauty trucks when I got here, pink beauty trucks.
What's a beauty truck?
So I converted box trucks into luxury salons and just drove around Texas and was like, someone please dial this number on the side of my truck. I'm here. And God directed me to these trucks and told me to do this. And I was just like completely walking in faith. And so it was very much one of those things, I think, that actually grew my relationship with God, driving around this box truck and laughing and having conversations. And so me and God just became real good friends on that truck and really just opened up my heart and my relationship to him. So
amazing. And you just like had this idea, when COVID hit, businesses are closing, you're like, I'm going to do a beauty salon truck.
Yeah.
Had you heard of somebody doing that, or you just like
exactly happen as smooth as that? But
that's great. Well, that's a beautiful version of that.
Yeah, if only it was that simple. But actually, I heard from God actually right before COVID hit. It was my first experiencing God. So going back to just that trauma, I was experiencing just PTSD and really struggling, trying to heal, going through all these like, I'm doing everything. What more can I do? And just at a moment.
Right before 2020.
This was right before 2020, about probably 3 months before. And so I was in one of those very dark places and just at the end of kind of where I was and just got on the floor crying in the bathroom and just called out. And I heard him. And there was just no, I'm going to get emotional because there was just no denying it. I knew immediately. And it was wild to me because it was just like, what more can I do? And he was like, I need you sober-minded. And I literally just I'm going to get emotional because my daughter's also here listening, but he just spoke so clearly. And I knew I had to listen. So he had very direct orders and steps for me to take. And it was being sober-minded so I can hear him more. And I fasted. I did a Daniel fast for 21 days.
Wow.
I started going to my husband's church. And he told me to prepare. I was going to be moving. I needed to prepare financially. It was a time in my life that was seasonal for my company. And my company.
Were you living in Texas?
I was in Connecticut.
In Connecticut.
Yeah.
This is part of your crazy story of
this is the part of the crazy story.
Up in Texas?
Yes. So I just had a very clear direction. I started taking it. And he told me to prepare financially and that there was going to be a big shift. And I was like, okay, well, I was planning on buying a house in the spring. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy this house. So I know I'm going to be moving. And then the
Where
world
was that
shut down.
house? In Connecticut?
Connecticut. Yeah. Texas was not on the radar, girl, at all. Was not on the radar. And Texas had this big hole in my heart that I just wasn't ready to face. I really neglected Texas for a really long time. I had family here. My father's here. And so Texas was never on the radar to ever go back to. And really, he called me to it after the pandemic happened and my business definitely was closed down. Financially, we were able to weather this storm because I was prepared. And I started to get into that mode again of like, what do I do? Like, I'm waiting to hear from you. Where are you? I need to know.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear from him right away. And then when I did, he said I needed to go to Texas. And I was like,
What?
I'm never going to Texas. And so really how it happened was my mom actually called me. It was that morning I heard Texas. My mom called me that afternoon and she was in Florida and she was like, hey, so I'm thinking of going to visit my brother in Texas. You need a break. You need to get out of the Northeast. Just take a break. Get on a flight. Meet me in Texas.
What? You're like, what is
Yeah.
the Lord doing?
Yeah. So I was just like, okay. And so I just connected dots and immediately I was like, done. I'm going to Texas. So this was on Sunday. My flights were booked on Thursday. And myself and my 2 kids got on a plane. There was 6 of us on the plane during COVID. It was May 2020. And we went to Texas. And so we visited. I regrouped. I went back up to Connecticut. And I mean, between protesting and trying to get my business open, I was just like, this is not the place for me. God, what am I going to do? And he said, you're moving to Texas. So I bought a house through the internet like any normal person.
Oh, any normal person.
Yeah.
Had a house through the internet, sight unseen.
Sight unseen. They approved my offer. Didn't know that they close in Texas a little faster than they do things in the Northeast.
Shit.
So I was like, okay, we're closing when? And so it was July 2020. Within 3 weeks, we sold everything, got in the car, and came to Texas.
You know, that's crazy because I was selling everything because I left August 1st, 2020.
Yeah, he was. I heard the story, and I was just like, he's just been calling people to Texas.
Yeah. So did he call you specifically to this area of Texas?
So my uncle lived. This is the area that I visited.
Yeah.
So I was familiar with the area. I had family close by. So I just knew that it was a good place. It was a family-oriented place. So I knew my kids would be settled. So that was important for me. But yeah, it was mostly because my family was here, and it was just where I felt like, all right, that's where we're gonna go.
All right, we're just gonna hustle.
Jump right in. And it was probably a few weeks later that my husband didn't come right away.
Okay, I'm gonna pause you.
Okay.
Your husband didn't come right
No.
away. Oh, that's a great cliffhanger. We're gonna take a commercial break. We'll be right back. We're back, my friend, with Ashley Stone, and we were right at the cliffhanger because the Lord told you, go visit Texas. Then he said, go move to Texas. You sell everything within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then right before the break, you're like, oh, and my husband didn't come right away.
No,
I was wondering, what did hubby think about this whole Texas
Yeah,
thing?
he wasn't exactly. He didn't get that same calling from the Lord.
Yeah.
So he was still working that out. So he actually worked in healthcare. He worked in the emergency room. So during a pandemic, as you can imagine, he was quite busy. So he had the stable job. So he had the health insurance and all those things. So he was like, you feel called to Texas. I'm not ready to go. So I'm going to support you on this and get you there with the kids. He drove us down and pretty much dropped us off and then flew back to Connecticut. And he had the stable job, so he did that for probably about 4 months. And we've been together for 22 years. And so for us, we've never been apart that long. So he would come and fly back every 3 weeks and visit. And it was on his first visit back, 3 weeks into living in Texas. He was like, what are you going to do? And I was just like, I don't know. And he mentioned going on the road. And also just a wild kind of situation when he mentioned it. I was like, well, it's got to be really nice, got to be really cool. And I was like, there's this really cool truck that I pinned on my Pinterest board like 3 years ago. Let me go see if I can find it. And so I went to my Pinterest board, I clicked on it, and it brought me to a link. And it was a marketing company out of Dallas, Texas.
Stop.
Yes. And so I was like, oh my gosh, it's 30 minutes away. Let me call them. So I literally, in that moment, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, called them. And they were like, yeah, we're a marketing company. We don't sell those trucks. We do those for big like brands and things like that. But if you want to come take a look, we might sell you one because COVID affected their business too.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like, done. Within 45 minutes, we were there, walked through it. And I was just like, there's no way. This is crazy. It was just like a wild idea. And then they said, yes, they would sell it to me. And I was like, okay, let me think about it. And I prayed on it. And it was just like, he was giving me every sign. Like, this is it. This is where you got to go. This is what you got to do. And so we, on a wing and a prayer, because we cashed out my husband's 401k. I mean, we totally just risked everything, the last of what we had, and put it into this pink truck.
This traveling pink truck. And then what happens?
So I just got on the road and just, again, prayed that people would call. People did. And it had wild success. And truly through that whole process, I mean, it really challenged me. I would do these videos called #TruckChronicles. And I would share just this wild stuff between fighting with the hose, filling the water tank, or breaking down and not knowing what was wrong, and like power outages on it. So all these different things. But it tested my faith in a completely different way, because I was just like, I am here, and I just see how he's working. And the people that I was meeting on this truck in a time like the world is still trying to come back, you know? And the people, I always believe when you're a hairstylist, you're kind of like a therapist.
Oh, yes.
With your clients. And it had been a while since I actually had done hair, because I mostly was running my businesses before. But it just gave me this like reality of just like being able to connect with people. And it just became about that for me. It wasn't about money. I was like, okay, God, lead me to that next person. Who else do I need to meet?
Yeah. Where were you driving around?
Through DFW.
Just driving around the Dallas area and just...
They would just call, and then I'd go, and then it was such a range. I kind of laughed a lot, because I was like, this is such a social experiment, because, you know, you have people from different, and at that time, I mean, people were on all different sides of the fence and their beliefs. And it was just like, you know, mask, no mask. Like, it was just all these different things. Everyone was just roaring about everything.
Yeah.
And so here I am, and I'm hearing really the inner behind the scenes of what that looked like for people, truly, and all these different stories. And it was some people that lived here and some people that were brand new, just like me. Yeah. And so you just realize like all of this, like, it just was becoming this melting pot. So I got to meet so many different people.
And were your kids at school? So you were doing it when the kids were at school? Did they come with you?
Yeah. So they were at school. So they were back at school. And that was kind of one of the factors. Like, Texas had schools that were open. So they wanted to go back to school. So while they were at school, I was on the truck, and I would get home by the time they got home from school. And so I worked during the week, during the day. And it was a great balance for us to get us at least on our feet when we first started here.
Wow. And so what happened to the pink truck?
Oh, the pink truck. So I feel like I had testimony on testimony on testimony, because God always has a plan. So I did that for quite a while, for about 2 years. And I eventually, as I got off the truck, I was stopped.
You can check out the rest of this interview right here, or by going to BibleRevival.tv. And if this show has blessed you, you can help us bless others by partnering with us for as little as $20 a month and help us to expand the reach of this show. We'd also like to invite you to join our Kingdom Discipleship Program, where you have an opportunity to get on weekly Bible Zoom calls with us and people around the world to deep dive into His Word. And you can check all that out at BibleRevival.tv. I'll see you next time, my friend.